Good kill, good kill. Hey, good kill.
Welcome back to another video, guys. I finally had a chance to sit down and look at the new Normandy 2 map that's going to be coming to DCS hopefully very, very soon. Now, I've been saying this for a while, and I know a lot of you in the community have also been saying this. We've long wanted more attention given to World War II, and it seems like with this map, we may be moving in that direction. We got some cool new World War II assets we're expecting to get in the near future. I'm thinking mostly about the CORSAIR there. I'm hoping to see that quite soon. But in terms of the map, let's have a look. I want to show you, this is the general outline of the map. This is pretty much all of it that you're gonna, like in terms of size, this is what you're gonna get. At the top there, you saw London. Right there, that big orange blob is London, and down here is Paris. And you can see all those airfields. Let's zoom in on Paris here. Look at this, pretty big. Very nice. There's the satellite view of it. Paris, obviously a very important map, very important area if you're going to be doing your World War II missions. As you watch this video, think about all the scenarios you can do in these various locations. We're going to head up over here to London. You can see London's very large for a World War II city, I guess you could say, World War II era city. They've done a wonderful job modeling that. I'm going to show you that in a little bit as well. But here you go with the satellite view of London, and that's looking real nice. Everything looks good. Once again, many Battle of Britain scenarios to be fought out here. Here is a look at Paris, France. And you can just see the tremendous amount of buildings. The Eiffel Tower, obviously very iconic for Paris. You know, we all know Paris started mobilizing for war September 1939 when Nazis and the Soviets attacked Poland. But the war seemed so far away until the 10th of May 1940 when the Germans actually attacked France and quickly defeated the French army. All of those scenarios are things that I think we can, you know, do on this map, and I think it'll be a tremendous amount of fun. Looking at London now, this is, in my opinion, Paris is extremely impressive, don't get me wrong, but this city here, London, is absolutely one of the most impressive things about this map. I mean, London's absolutely massive. And they kind of captured the feel of it. You know, you still got those like reddish roofs that kind of make you feel like it's London. You got the river that runs through. You know, it feels very London at the time. And especially when you throw some Spitfires and you're flying over, it feels very authentic. Again, lots of scenarios to be played out here. I'm thinking mostly of, you know, Battle of Britain, BF-109s and bombers flying over London, dropping bombs and, you know, all that kind of stuff. V-1 rockets coming in. I think it'll be, you can do some really beautiful scenes in this area, I think. Now, you guys might be aware, but I had a World War II, I still do, the World War II server that we made not too long ago, kind of has a dynamic feel to it. That one, the scenarios were, they kind of felt a little limited just because we had so little to work with in terms of, you know, compared to this map, to be honest. There weren't that many airfields and all that kind of stuff, so it was often difficult to create scenarios. Yeah, you were bombing some ports and some cities and stuff, but this map has so much more. You got so many castles, you got, you know, infrastructure, you got fortified positions. There's a lot of interesting stuff here that you can use to work into missions and, you know, try to create the realistic scenarios, like trying to bomb actual places that have fortified positions here. Like, I don't know, Pegasus Bridge here, you got fortifications on two sides. You can put some tanks there, drop some bombs on them. It actually feels like you're doing something instead of just dropping random bombs in fields, you know. Both across England and in France, you got these landmark locations that, you know, everybody will recognize, of course, Stonehenge. And they've actually modeled them, and I think that's pretty cool. Like, imagine you just shoot down a BF-109 that lands right beside that thing, and, you know, you sigh of relief, like, oh, I'm happy I didn't land on it. That kind of immersion, in my opinion, is very important. Now, in terms of total number of airfields in the last two maps, I'm talking about Normandy and the Channel map, there were 39 airfields in total, 27 of which were in Normandy, and there were 12 airfields on the Channel map. Now, in the early stages of this Normandy 2 map, we're going to have access to 69 airfields. And they're hoping that by the time of the final release of the Normandy 2 map, that number will be increased to as high as 89 airfields for you to run missions out of. Which, again, having been somebody who's tried to create missions in, you know, the World War II server, sometimes it was difficult because you're like, oh, I want them to be able to take off and get to this location quickly without having to fly for 35 minutes to get there, but there's no airfields nearby. That's no longer a problem in this map from what I've seen, and what you guys, and I showed you the whole map at the beginning of the video. You saw how many airfields were sprinkled across this thing, and they're absolutely massive. The other thing is the old maps, they didn't have that many slots for aircraft, so you couldn't necessarily even get a bunch of planes in the airfield you actually had. Now there's so many slots for aircraft, they're all over the place, so there's no shortage of locations from which you can start your mission from. You have other very important landmarks, like everybody wants Dunkirk. I'm sure everybody's going to be running some Dunkirk scenarios. So all of that is there. You got the port of Dunkirk, you can do evacuation missions and whatever, all that kind of stuff is there. But when it comes to Western theater World War II stuff, I think this map pretty much wraps it all up. There's not much more that I want to see from the Western theater. Yes, I would like to see ED expand into other theaters of World War II, but in terms of locking down Europe and the real fights that went down there, Paris, France, of course there's so many more theaters of combat in Europe, but this is, in my opinion, one of the most iconic ones, right? Obviously so much went down between the Germans through France to England, and the Americans get involved here. You got early warning radar stations for the German, if you want to be the German side, you want to bomb some British radar stations, and you got British guys trying to defend it. So definitely some super interesting scenarios that you can do with this map. Alright guys, that's the preview of the map. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.